When it comes to getting straight A's or scoring high on standardized tests, girls are seriously outperforming boys in the classroom. And even at the college level, women make up 57% of bachelor's degrees and 60% of master's degrees. So why are men falling behind in school, and what can we do to reverse this trend?
Yes, we're letting them fall behind at a time where college achievement or enrollment beyond high school has never been more important. I think a lot of people are thinking it's a different age where a student could be, a young man especially, could be an indifferent performer and then go on and get a good middle-class job. The world has changed. We have a knowledge-based economy, and for some reason, young women are adapting, and largely young men are not.
Would you say that it has to do with masculinity of some kind? And of course, Andrew, I'm going to take this to you very quickly with this question.
Well, I do suggest that our education leaders and government leaders acknowledge what the British are acknowledging, the Australians, the Canadians. They're coping with the same problem. Overall, men and women are different. Boys and girls are different. It's harder to engage a young man in education. It's more of a challenge. So I think male pedagogy should be a subspecialty in schools of education. But for the most part, boys are ignored, or some scholars say, well, we have to rescue them from their masculinity. Well, you can do that up to a point, but there are limits to how far you can change young men. So why don't we meet them halfway?
I've been doing this, working with kids for about 25 years, and so I've seen quite a lot of changes during that time. I've worked in co-ed schools. I've worked in a boys' school. I have a daughter at Mount Holyoke College getting a very empowering single-sex education herself. And the thing that I really want to talk about at the kid level in terms of what's going on is if we go back to 2001 and the No Child Left Behind Act, that changed public education more dramatically than anything I've seen during my career. Once we had high-stakes testing culture in our public schools, we had kindergarten as the new first grade. We had academics being taught during the kindergarten years and even the preschool years, when instead of focusing on children learning how to play and how to cooperate and listen and follow directions and pay attention, they were expected to be doing academics at younger and younger ages. And developmentally, that is a disadvantage to all children, but perhaps more so to boys than to girls because they're slower to mature cognitively and socially in those ways. And so I feel that that's the reason that some of this started, and we now see what's happening at the college level, because at the elementary school level, middle school level, and high school level, we now have teachers being assessed according to student outcomes on these tests, which don't factor in the things Andrew was talking about, like poverty and children coming to school hungry and large class size. And it creates an atmosphere of intimidation and even fear for teachers and principals and superintendents. And we have to get the kids to perform on these tests. And in order to do that, we cut out recess and we cut down on PE and opportunities for children to get their restless energy out because we have to focus on the academics. And I think there are a lot of curricular and pedagogical changes that we could make in the schools that would help boys and not hurt girls, because it's not a zero-sum game, and we do need to get away from that. I spend most of my advocacy time on girl empowerment. I'm a feminist. However, this issue, I'm much more concerned about girls, not just boys, not just boys, but boys predominantly, because they are statistically the ones that are falling behind and entering college in lower numbers down the road. But why? They're turning off to school, and they're turning off to school because school isn't built for them in certain ways. And as I often say, we need schools to be ready for kids, not the other way around.